Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. A game, a matchup that was already plenty juicy has just gotten juicier from Mary Kay Cabot's column at Cleveland.com with quotes from Myles Garrett about the complicated relationship between Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the game. We'll talk about last night's game between the Bills and Rams. I'll give you picks for all the NFL games for week number 1. That's all coming up. Plus, we'll look ahead to the weekend series between the Guardians and the Twins. It's a big one right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull.
Cast is not for the faint of heart.
And I do think it's time for the Browns to move on.
It's not for those who ride the fence.
He's proven nothing.
But if you're looking for someone who tells it like it is about Cleveland sports,
everybody does fandom their way.
You've come to the right place.
I don't think he's any good.
It's time for the Bullpen with Adam the Bull.
Myself, G. Bush, Jason Lloyd, and many others have been telling you what Mary Kay Cabot just confirmed in her great column at Cleveland.com yesterday, that Myles Garrett was done with Baker. And a lot of the players, especially on the defensive side, were not happy with Baker. As gets pointed out in this column, we talked about this before, when Baker threw Myles Garrett under the bus after Myles hit the great kazoo in the swung at him with his helmet. Number 2, he ticked off a lot of people with the Odell Beckham situation. There were sides taken there that affected the team, no doubt about it. And 3, Baker bowing out of the last game of the year when other guys who were banged up as well and weren't whining about it all season like Baker actually played in the final game. But a couple of interesting quotes here. This from Myles Garrett, again from Mary Kay Cabot's article, Cleveland.com. Garrett explained that he left Mayfield on red after the quarterback sent along a farewell text message to the pass rusher, and further explained the working relationship between the two had peaks and valleys throughout their partnership. This is a quote from Mary Kay's article from Myles Garrett. Quote, he said this is he, meaning Baker, said he appreciated the time we got to spend together and getting to know each other and growing together. Myles Garrett continued to say, I didn't say anything. I didn't really have much to say. I didn't know how to reply to it, so I didn't. I read the text, but there were some disagreements we had at a base level, and I'm not mad at the guy or feeling any way towards it, but I just didn't know how to reply to that, so I didn't. But I still think he's a hell of a competitor, and he's a great guy to have on your side, and I'm rooting for him. I think he has a great family, but he's the opposition now. And at the end of the day, I've got to take him out. Oh, yeah. He's got to take him out. Take him out. Yes. I am so freaking fired up for this game. Again, I was already at peak level fired up. Myles Garrett beyond motivated. Baker Mayfield beyond motivated. Let's see what we got. And we are going to read so much more into this game than it really means, right? This one game, sweeping judgments will be made by everybody after this one game, which are completely absurd. But it doesn't matter. It's going to happen. I'm going to probably do it. You're going to probably do it. Everybody else is going to probably do it. And listen, don't forget, we will be joining you, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, 2-minute show. At the 2-minute warning of Browns Panthers, if you're subscribed to our YouTube show, if you're not, do it now. I mean, you can still watch it even if you're not subscribed, but why would you not want to be if you like watching the show? And at the 2-minute warning, we're going to come on. It's going to be me, G. Bush, Mikey McNuggets, and Jeff Lloyd. And we are going to watch the final 2 minutes of the game with you, react to it the same way you are, probably. We'll see if it's a close game. Who knows? And then we'll stay on for I don't know how long after to kind of talk about the game. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. It depends how we're feeling. I have no idea. We have no set time limit. No commercial breaks. None of this nonsense. 8-minute commercials. No. Nothing but content from the 2-minute warning until we're done, whenever that might be. So make sure you join us. It's going to be great. And Monday's show is going to be amazing. And Monday's podcast is going to be a lot of meat on the bone. And, we've talked about this a lot. The Browns have to, make up for the fact that they're hurting a quarterback, that they're not great at that position. And Jacoby Brissett, the team believes in him. Just because I may not or you may not doesn't mean they don't. They do. I think his strengths are he knows who he is. He doesn't turn the ball over. I don't think he's going to do what Baker does. Baker thinks he could be Patrick Mahomes and these other star quarterbacks, which he can't. Jacoby Brissett knows that. He seems comfortable in his own skin and comfortable with his own talent level. And so, unlike Baker, who's clearly not, and so he's going to probably not take too many chances, which Baker might, especially when Baker's super pumped. And I'm sure Baker's seen those quotes. He'll pretend he hasn't seen them, but he's seen those quotes. I shouldn't say I'm sure he's seen them. Of course he's seen them. Or somebody read them to him, and he's going to want to stick it to Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett's going to want to stick it to him. And we'll see who has the better day. And so the intensity for this game, and the guys can say what they want. It's one game. True. It's a non-conference opponent. In the grand scheme of things, it might not matter. Maybe. It is football. Pretty much every game matters. But this game means more. It means more to Myles Garrett. It means more to Baker Mayfield. It means more to a lot of maybe I don't know. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the Panthers players. I don't know about the Browns players on offense. I'm not sure. But certainly to the Browns defense and to Baker Mayfield, this game means this is not just another game. So don't let anybody convince you that. They want to demolish each other. The Browns want to be celebrating at the quarterback multiple times in this game. They want to. I mean, I just read you the freaking quote. I'll read it again. But he's the opposition now, or the end of the quote. And at the end of the day, I've got to take him out. You're damn right you do. It's all you, Myles. Now's your time. Now's the opportunity. We all want you to kick his ass. I know there's some fake Browns fans in town who are now rooting for the Panthers. Big phonies. They're really just Oklahoma people. And by the way, I'm sick of this crapola I'm seeing. We know what happens when Baker's backs up against the wall. Why? Because he won a couple of games in college versus a team he lost to? Or because he beat a bad Bengals team with Hugh Jackson back on the sideline? How is that? I saw this dopey report from Carolina. He got revenge against Hugh Jackson. Revenge for what? Hugh Jackson got fired. How did he get revenge on Hugh Jackson? Because he didn't name him the starter week 1? That's revenge? That's ridiculous. This idea that Baker always comes through with his back against the wall. First of all, I don't give a rat's ass what he did in college. That is meaningless when it comes to the NFL. And when has he won? He's won. The only big spot he's come through is the back-and-forth game against the Bengals 2 years ago where he threw that great pass to DBA for the touchdown and the big fourth-quarter comeback. Outside of that, he's never come through when it's mattered in the NFL. Who cares about college? Tim Tebow was one of the best college quarterbacks ever. He sucked in the NFL. It's meaningless. So Myles Garrett could plant the flag up, Well, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, if it was so easy for Baker to get his back up against the wall to get a victory all the time, why wouldn't he have done better? Why wouldn't he have more clutch moments? Nobody cares about his clutch moments in college when guys are running free all over the place. When nobody plays defense in the Big 12. Give me a break. Chip on his shoulder. I'm going to throw a boulder on his head. Not literally, of course. Maybe Myles Garrett will, right? We know he'll get punished, unlike Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald! Out there for the first game last night. No, I don't... it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that you could swing your helmet. Like, it only matters if you swing your helmet in games, not in practice. Think about the stupidity of that. Myles Garrett was punished for swinging his helmet. Aaron Donald was not punished for swinging his helmet. Why should it matter if it's a game or practice? I don't understand. The egregious act was swinging your helmet. What did it have to do with what the situation was? If off the game field doesn't matter, then why is Deshaun Watson suspended, or why have any of these other players been suspended? Why has Josh Gordon's career been destroyed? If off the field doesn't matter, if incidents on the field are the only one that matter, then why is anybody suspended for anything? So we shouldn't suspend anybody for off the field. So Deshaun Watson shouldn't be suspended, and Kareem Hunt shouldn't have been suspended, and all these other guys, and Josh Gordon. And I don't know, whoever the hell else has been suspended, right? I mean, so if a player today, this weekend, punches someone in the face, he's going to get suspended. But in practice, like what you can do, you can swing your helmet at somebody in practice. You just can't smoke a joint. You can take all the pain-killing drugs you want. Take those painkillers. Don't go to a hooker. Oh, Robert Kraft was able to go to hooker. Sorry, he got no punishment. By the way, I don't care. Go to hookers you want. I don't care. Doesn't matter. But it's illegal though, technically, which is silly. But that's another story for another day. All right, take a break. When we come back, I'll talk about last night's game in the NFL, and also I'm going to make all the NFL picks. I'm going to go every game this weekend and give you my picks. I'll save the Monday Nighter for Monday, but the rest of them I'll give to you. That's all coming up. First, I got to talk about Sleeper. Speaking of football, Sleeper, the fastest-growing fantasy platform today with the NFL season already kicked off. Sleeper is climbing the charts with over 4 million-plus users. In addition, they just launched 22 new features, including over-unders integrated into fantasy. The first sports contest game built into the fantasy experience. Not only can you enter a contest via over-under itself, but you can also do so through your fantasy league's matchup screen, and it's super simple. First, in any sport, choose 2 or more players you like and pick the over-under. For example, rushing yards in football, number of points in basketball. Then choose the amount of money you want to enter into the contest. If you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 to 20 times the money you put in. It's pretty sweet. The main reason I'm excited about Over-Under on Sleeper is that it's the only app where I can join my friends' contests and play together. It's got a built-in group chat where I can see and copy my group picks with a tap of a button. Insanely fun to ride it out together and to bust chops, you know. So stop what you're doing right now and download Sleeper. Play their over-under game, have fun with your friends, and make some cash. On your mobile phone, join our listener group on Sleeper at promo code sleeper.com/lockedonbets, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. Again, go to sleeper.com/lockedonbets or /lockedon today, and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. With Sleeper, as correctly predicted by me yesterday, Bills dominate the Rams. I said it on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I think I said it on my podcast yesterday. I can't remember. I was wrong about Cooper Kupp, though. I thought he'd have under 96 yards, and he did not. He had a big game, but nobody else in the Rams did. Matthew Stafford was lousy. He did not look good. Cam Akers barely played, which was surprising. Darrell Henderson played pretty well. Allen Robinson, non-factor, only 2 targets in this game. If you're like me and you have him on your fantasy team, you're not happy. Same thing with Cam Akers, as I mentioned. And the Bills just run roughshod. It was close, right, at halftime. It was a tie game, but it felt like the Bills were dominating, and then the second half they did. 31-10 the final. Josh Allen, of course, magnificent. I'll share again, if you missed it on Twitter, I tweeted last night, it was only 30 minutes into the game, 4 things that were annoying me. 4 things that are annoying me about the broadcast. Here we go. Number 1 was, I can't find my list. Okay. Mike Tirico mentioning Syracuse. Now, I love Mike Tirico, but, I get it, Mike. You went to Syracuse. And so many media members. It's bitterness, because I went to a small school that's a couple hours away from Syracuse. It's called Brockport, which most people haven't heard of. We have a good broadcasting program as well. It's not as big as Syracuse, not as famous as Syracuse, but we have a number of people from my school that are having quality media careers. So I take a lot of pride in that. But and I mentioned my school, but there's just so many Syracuse people. They always got to get a Syracuse take in there. And like another thing, just in general, I don't care what college the players went to. I hate when broadcasters mention the college the player went to. Like every player, he's a third-year guy from North Dakota State. I don't care. Nobody cares. You call the game. Chain pizza commercials suck because chain pizza sucks. Everyone's reaction, both on the broadcast and on Twitter, to Josh. I love seeing all the tweets. Oh, Josh Allen's playing a different sport. Like, we didn't know this already. We didn't know Josh Allen was great already. Well, you're just finding that out for the first time. And then, of course, no mention of Aaron Donald getting a pass when he used his helmet as a weapon, something I've already talked about. But domination by the Bills, it was impressive. It's not surprising. They win by 11 points to start the season. Fun first half, and then obviously a blowout in the second half. All right, let's get to it. Slate of games for this Sunday, and I'll wrap it up with the Browns pick. Let's start with 1 o'clock games on Sunday. Saints at the Falcons. The Saints are a 5.5-point favorite in this one. I actually like the Falcons to cover. I think it'll be a close game. I don't like the Falcons, but division game, week 1. Jameis Winston hasn't played in a while. A lot of new moving parts with the Saints. They've lost some guys on defense. I think the Saints are the much better team, but because it's an opener, because they're at home, there's not much to like about the Falcons. I don't think Marcus Mariota is any good. But for the first game, I think they keep them just close enough. I think the Saints win, but the Falcons cover the 5.5. So I'll take the Falcons plus 5.5. All right, game number 2. Bears at 49ers. 49ers at Bears. The 49ers are a 7-point favorite on the road, and I like the 49ers to cover. The Bears, it's amazing. The Bears have all these holes, and they're always up against the cap. I think they've done Justin Fields a disservice. I don't like any of his weapons besides Darnell Mooney. I know people are going crazy about Cole Kmet. I don't buy it. I don't like their running game. I don't like anything about their offense at all. I think they're in big trouble. I think the Niners, talk about playing with a chip on their shoulder. I think Trey Lance is going to play this game with a chip on his shoulder. And I'm not completely sold. I don't love this game. If I had to, if I was only picking a certain amount of games, I would leave this game off the board. But if I had to pick, I'm going with the Niners -7 because I just think the Bears are that terrible. And I think the Niners are that good. And I think they'll dominate. They're healthy right now, defensively running the ball. All right. I'll save the division games for later. Another 1 o'clock game. Eagles at the Lions. The Eagles are 4-point road favorite in this one. I love the Eagles in this game. People are way overhyping the Detroit Lions. Whenever a team is on Hard Knocks, people get pumped. They get excited because, and Dan Campbell's a real meathead, and he gets the players fired up, and, maybe he'll turn out to be a decent coach. He hasn't shown it yet. The Eagles have really upgraded. Jalen Hurts started playing. Jalen Hurts is a flawed player, or has been a flawed player. I was reading that Albert Breer said they really think his accuracy is going to improve, something that did happen with Josh Allen. Now, I don't think Jalen Hurts is Josh Allen, but Jalen Hurts is a hell of an athlete, and if he can improve his accuracy, it can make a difference now, or it can make a big difference. They have improved their wide receiving core, getting A.J. Brown. It was a great pickup. They have a really good offensive line. They should have a very good defense. The Lions defense, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be. I know they got Aiden Hutchinson and everybody is going crazy, but what else do they have? Now, I like their weapons on offense, but they still have Jared Goff at quarterback. So I think he holds them back, and I think the Eagles will cover the 4-point spread. Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are a 3.5-point favorite at home. I don't love this game. It's really a stay away, but since I promised to pick every game, I will take the Dolphins at home. The Dolphins are just the better team. I know it's people always assume teams like the Patriots and the Steelers are always going to be at least competitive, and maybe they will be. I'm not a believer in Mac Jones now. I'm not a believer in Tua either. But since I don't think either of them are very good, I look at the rest of the team, and I just think the Dolphins across the board are much better than the Patriots. They're at home, and all I need to do is win by 4 points. I mean, Vegas is saying, based on this line, that these teams are about even on a neutral field. I don't see it. I think the Dolphins are much better, so I'll take the Dolphins -3.5. All right, Jaguars and Commanders. Oh, what a horrible game. I mean, there's a lot of great games on the Week 1 schedule. That's one that I would never watch. If you're stuck watching that game, I'm sorry. I'm not giving you much analysis. I'm just going to I'll take the Jaguars. I think both teams are not very good. I don't buy that Washington's defense was good 2 years ago, and they were bad last year. They still got some injuries and turnover they're dealing with there. I think Carson Wentz stinks. I think Trevor Lawrence will improve. I think the Jaguars will have an interesting running game. I'll take the 2.5 with the Jaguars. Colts at Texans. Game in Houston. Colts are a 7-point favorite. Another game I would stay away from if I had to. I'm only picking it because I have to, but I should stop making that excuse. I should shut up with that stupid excuse. It's like if I get it wrong, it's a pass. I get no passes. I'm giving myself no passes. Get them right or get out. I'm taking the Colts in this one. The Texans are horrible. They're horrible. I'm not a believer in Davis Mills. They have no running game. They have one good pass catcher. Their defense was terrible last year. To be honest, I haven't studied their defense carefully this year. But I think Matt Ryan in Indianapolis is a perfect fit. They were a very good team that needed. Listen, Matt Ryan's not a great quarterback at this point in his career. But he's much better than Carson Wentz. He's above average, and that's all they need because they have a ton of talent around him. They will go to Houston and demolish the Texans. Giants at Titans, another game I'd be boring to watch. Will Saquon Barkley get back to the player he once was? I actually like the Giants to stay in this game. I think the Titans pull it out at home. I think they win by a field goal. I think it's a lower scoring game. I'll take the Giants plus the points. It's probably a bad call, but I'll do it. I think the Titans are going to win by 3. Derrick Henry missed a lot of time last year, didn't look great in the playoffs. He's got to round back into form. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Both Barkley and Derrick Henry, I think there'll be a lot of running in this game. Titans wide receiving core has a lot of question marks. Robert Woods coming off the injury. They acquired him. Treylon Burks, their rookie who hasn't looked good in camp. The Giants, it seems like their wide receivers are always hurt. So I'll take the Giants to cover. All right, but again, I'll get back to the other 3 1 o'clock games, which all involve division teams, including the Browns, in a minute. Let's get to the 4 o'clock games on Sunday. Green Bay at Minnesota. Packers are only a 1.5-point favorite, and I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game at home, getting a 1.5. I'm high on the Vikings this year, even though I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy. I don't like him in big spots late in the season, but I think opening day at home. He's got so many weapons. I mean, they are loaded, right? Talent-wise, at the skill positions. They got a new coaching staff. I think they could be more aggressive offensively. And I'm not a believer in, as great as Aaron Rodgers is, I'm just not a believer in his skill position guy. Well, at least his wide receivers. I think they got a lot to prove. I think it's a close game. I think the Vikings pull it out. I'd call it a little bit of an upset. And it is, even though they're home, because Green Bay's favored. Chiefs at the Cardinals. Chiefs favored by 6. Love the Chiefs in this game. I think it's going to be a long season for the Cardinals. They've got a lot of question marks on that team. Defensively, Kyler Murray, their running game. I know James Conner was pretty good last year, but who else they got there if he gets hurt? So I'll take the Chiefs in this one to start. Raiders at Chargers. Great game. Will be a lot of fun to watch. Chargers a 3-point favorite at home. I think this is a slugfest. I think the Chargers could win by 3. I'll lay the 3 with the Chargers because I think they're ultimately going to win. I do think it's going to be fairly close, but a high-scoring game. Take the over. A lot of points. Same in the Buccaneers-Cowboys. I expect this to be an offensive showdown. Maybe I'm wrong because both teams have issues on the offensive line. That's going to be something interesting to watch. Obviously, Dak Prescott could deal with that as a better athlete than Tom Brady, but be interesting to see. I like the Cowboys at home. I usually hate the Cowboys, but I like the Cowboys at home in this game. They're getting 2.5 Sunday Night Football, so I'll take the Cowboys to cover the 2.5. Now let's get into the division, shall we? Let's begin with the Ravens. The Ravens have a 1 o'clock start. I can't believe all the AFC North teams are playing at the same time. That stinks. Ravens at the Jets. Ravens are a 7-point favorite in this game on the road. I think the Ravens are getting way overhyped this offseason. A lot of people picking them to win the division. I don't see how they're the best team on paper. Doesn't mean they won't win the division. I think they're the second best team in the division. I do think the Bengals are on paper the best team. I think if Deshaun Watson was playing 17 games, it'd be a different story. But as currently constituted, I do think the Bengals are a better team than the Ravens on paper. Maybe I'm biased. I don't think so. I try to keep my biases out of it. But I do like the Ravens in this game. I mean, Joe Flacco, the Jets defense, the Jets not going to be able to score anything. Not with Joe Flacco at quarterback. He stung 5 years ago. What does he look like now? Ravens will cover the 7 points. Steelers at Bengals. Now, maybe I'll get proven wrong here, but the game's in Cincinnati. The Bengals offense destroyed the Steelers last year. Jamar Chase was unstoppable against the Steelers now. They're a prideful team. They're well coached. Maybe they'll turn it around this year. We'll see. I thought the Steelers would be under 500 last year for the first time. I was wrong. I'm going to say it again this year. First time, not first time ever, but the first time in a long time. I think it happens this year. I think the Bengals win by double digits in Cincinnati. I think there's fair things to worry about with the Bengals. They do have a new offensive line that they got to develop some chemistry. Not all their guys have played a lot, but it's so much better than it was last year, at least on paper. They haven't lost any key players. The Bengals' offense should be as good as any in the league. Meanwhile, the Steelers' offensive line's a big issue. Najee Harris had 2 of his 3 worst games against the Bengals last year. I think the Bengals match up well against the Steelers. I haven't said that much in my life, but I think they do right now. I'll lay the 6.5 with the Bengals at home. And finally, you know where I'm going. Wow, the line has just changed again. Ooh, the sharp money is coming in on the Browns. How about this? Browns at Panthers, like 3 days ago, the Panthers were 2.5-point favorite. It was 1.5, I believe, as of last night. And now I just looked up the line again on ESPN, and Browns-Panthers is now a pick'em, which means when and by the way, the percentage of bets, not percentage of money, but percentage of bets on the Panthers was higher than any other team except for the Broncos, at least as of yesterday. And yet the line is now swung 2.5 points in favor of the Browns. Why is that? Even though most people are betting on the Panthers, it's because the smart bettors are betting on the Browns. If you got them at 2.5, that's great. You got them at 1.5, that's great. 2.5, even better. I'll still take them at even. The Browns are going to win this game 23-17. That's your. Let's go. Browns will take care of business in Carolina, but it's always a positive when the sharp money is on the Browns. One final break, and then some quick thoughts on the Guardians heading into a big weekend against the Twins. Next. If you're watching on YouTube, you didn't really have a break. You just saw me drink some water for a second. As you know, you're all used to that. All right, folks, it's now come down to this. The Cleveland Guardians have 27 games left in the season. Twins and White Sox both played yesterday. They both won yesterday. And they are both 1.5 games behind the Guardians with very few games to go. And they will play each other 12 of their next 15 games will be against the Twins, 8, and the White Sox, 4. The season will come down to this. The Guardians lead the Twins by 2 in the loss column. They lead the White Sox by 3 in the loss column. So that's important. But it's all going to be made up here soon. And when you look at first this weekend with the Guardians playing the Twins, a 3-game series in Minnesota, the pitching matchups, I'll give them to you. I mentioned them yesterday, but let's reiterate. It's Quantrill and Bundy tonight, 8:10. McKenzie and Archer tomorrow, 7:15. And then the Sunday afternoon game, Bieber against to be determined for the Twins. The Guardians have their top 3 pitchers going on the road against Minnesota. Now, McKenzie has not pitched well against the Twins. McKenzie, for the most part, has pitched excellent this year. He has struggled in his 3 starts against the Twins, so it's something to keep an eye on for Saturday's game. But the Guardians have to take care of business, and they got a day off yesterday. The bats have been awful. The Guardians have lost, 9 of 13, I believe it is. And they have not scored a lot of runs. Now is the time. 3 weeks left in the season. A little more than that. 4 weeks. 4 weeks left in the season. Guardians got to get the bats cooking again. It's been up and down all year. They've been through a big down stretch here the last couple of weeks. Time to pick it back up. The bats have to come to life as you get ready to play the Twins and the White Sox. Again, 12 of their next 15 games against the Twins and White Sox. That's going to determine whether or not the Guardians make the playoffs. All right. The next time we talk will be at the 2-minute warning of Browns-Panthers on Sunday. I can't wait. Make sure you join us. Make sure you subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube page. You can find the podcast. You can find the Sunday post-game show that starts at the 2-minute warning. You can find it all. Subscribe. Hit the bell so you get alerts. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, jump on board right now. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my website, adamthebull.com. Check out my Cameo. I love you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday right here in the bullpen.